Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. I'm gonna apologize if the video quality seems a little bit dark. I broke my ring light and have yet to been able to get a new one, so I'm literally just using the natural light for my room, which is not a lot. But this is going to be my April wrap-up and stats. So first we'll go into the stats, and then into the books that I read for the second half of the book, because I always do a mid-month wrap-up and then an end-of-month wrap-up. I will try to remember to leave the mid-month wrap-up in the description and in the iCard, which is, I always forget which side, so the iCard on whichever side it is. So I have my stats on my iPad, but I will just scooch over and pop them up here. So in April, I read 21 books, which totaled to 6,621 pages, and my average star rating was a 4.1. I listened to 2 audiobooks, I read 13 ebooks, and I read 6 physical books, 5 of which were adult, 8 of which were new adult, and 8 of which were young adult. For these genres, I read 3 contemporary, 5 fantasy, 4 graphic novels. If you want to be specific, they were contemporary graphic novels, 1 paranormal, and 8 romances. Now again, this is the mid-month wrap-up, so these are what I read from about, I think it was about the 15th on. So, and I will look here just to confirm, because I have in fact forgotten books that I read if I do not look off my list. But the first book that I'm going to talk about in this video is November 9 by Colleen Hoover, which this essentially follow Ben and Fallon, who they meet and they agree to only meet up on November 9th. And outside of November 9th, they have no connection whatsoever. They're not allowed to stalk each other on social media. They're not allowed to get a hold of each other in any way, shape, or form. And they end up forming a relationship. And this book, this book was really good. I gave it a 4.5 because it was such a fun read. I also buddy read this with 2 of my close friends, Mac and Reese. And we just had a fun time chatting about it. And, yeah, I really liked Ben and Fallon, although they did irritate me in a few different aspects. But I love the way that the story was told, as in, you, the reader, do not know what the characters did in the last year until the other character finds out. And there are definitely things that make you, hate the characters but then love them. And there was a plot twist that literally I fell out of bed while reading. I was reading it and I was on the edge of my bed and I was like, and then I literally just hit the floor. I have only fallen out of bed reading a couple of different books before, so yeah. If that doesn't show how big the plot twist was, I don't know what is. And then in April, the Heartstopper TV show came out. So of course, before that came out, I had to reread the graphic novels, and I gave them all 5 stars. So I read Heartstopper Volume 1, Heartstopper Volume 2, Heartstopper Volume 3, and Heartstopper Volume 4. I love this series. In this series, I'll just pop up the first book here. We follow Nick and Charlie, and they go to an all-boys school, they become friends, and they eventually form a relationship with each other. And while you'd think it is a light and fluffy thing, it's not. You deal with some pretty heavy topics such as mental health issues, eating disorders, having to come out, and I love this series so much. I'm actually going to be doing a reread on Friday, so 2 days after posting this. Yes, I'm going to be doing a reread within less than a month of reading it. Am I crazy? Kind of. But yeah, I just love it so much. I'm really hoping we get a season 2 of the show. I actually have my whole thoughts on the show, although a lot of thoughts could be added to that. I'll try to leave that in the iCard in the description as well. But this series is just one that I see myself, I see myself so much in the 2 main characters, of Nick and Charlie. I feel like I am a mix of both of them, but then just change a couple elements, but the basic elements of them as characters, I feel like I relate to so much. So yeah. Then I also finished City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. This book took me 3 weeks to read. This is the third book in the Mortal Instruments series, and this was just such a slug until I started the audiobook. The audiobook was really good. The audiobook is the only thing that made me finish this book. I still did give it 4 stars because I love the characters and I love the world. This just isn't my favorite book. This is probably my second least favorite. So it's like, there's 6 books in the series. It's my number 5 ranking, because I just like, if you know the series, you know that there is a specific thing that happens, and like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't see why it is necessary. Like, I know why it's necessary to the plot, but I'm like, you could have done it somewhere else instead of doing that. And that's what made me struggle through this, because I'm like, I have to go through this again. This was my third time reading it. I will be reading City of Fallen Angels sometime in May. I said I was going to do that in April, so maybe May? Who knows? I also read Corrupt by Penelope Douglas, and this is the first book in the Devil's Night series. Essentially in Corrupt, I'm going to struggle to describe this, so bear with me. But essentially we follow Erica, who she is moving to this new city to switch colleges. She feels like where she's at now is a little bit like restricting. But when she does so, she moves into an apartment, and then she finds out that a person that she hates lives upstairs and owns the building. And this ends up tying into her past, as she knew this person her whole life, but more specifically interacted with him when she was 15. And it's told in dual point of view, so we see Erica's point of view, but then we also see the guy Michael's point of view, as well as you see them in present time, and then also 3 years. Is it 3 or 4 years? 3 years? 4 years. 4 years in the past? No, she's 16 at the thing. She's 16 in the past. We see her, and we see how that went down, and then present time, the consequences. And I did really like this. 4 stars. If you've read it, the sauna scene, yeah, it's spicy. I should mention that. But the sauna scene, that's going to be ingrained in my brain for a while. That definitely came out of left field. Did it really, though? I just liked it. But I will be continuing the series. This Corrupt can be read almost like a standalone in the series, but I loved all the side characters, because we also see some side characters of Michael's friends who are later the main male love interest in like the series. So I'm very curious to see where the series goes, as there was a cliffhanger at the end. Not a cliffhanger. There was also a plot twist at the end that like I wouldn't have expected. So I am curious to read the other books to see like the aftermath of everything. So yeah. And then the final book I read in April was Ruthless by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, which is the second book in the Zodiac Academy series, where essentially we follow Tori and Darcy Vega, who find out they are Fae, and they have to travel to Solaria to attend the Zodiac Academy. They are also the lost heirs of Solaria, and they have to attend Zodiac Academy to basically, if they graduate, they get all of their inheritance and their throne. But there are also the celestial heirs that are also in running for the throne, as when Tori and Darcy's parents got killed and Tori and Darcy got taken to the mortal world. Obviously somebody had to step up on the throne, so that's where the celestial families came in, and now these celestial heirs are bullying Tori and Darcy to try to get them to leave the Zodiac Academy so that they won't be able to graduate and they won't be able to get their thrones. And there's also like some other things going around with things. I don't know what I can say without spoilers. This I gave a 3.5. I did fairly enjoy it. Definitely, as the books are going on, they're getting better. I do prefer book 2 over book 1, as we're just learning more about the world, more about characters, and the characters are kind of starting to grow on me. I hate to admit it. I will be continuing the series, as I've heard that as you go on, they get even better. So I'm really hoping that does happen, because right now, both the books are 3.5, which still is good, but I'd like them to maybe be boosted up to like 4 stars. So maybe later in the series that will happen. I believe that is all the books I've read, unless I forgot to write something down. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what is one book that you read in April, and yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and bye!